As a turnkey investor myself, sometimes I hear people talking about turnkey properties and I just don't get what they're saying. What they're describing has nothing to do with turnkey. They're using the word as a verb or a noun when really all it is descriptive of a process. So stop calling turnkey what it really isn't and start focusing on what it is. I'm here to help you define that today. Hi everyone, Chris Clothier here from REI Nation, and my family and I have been investing in turnkey properties for several decades now, and we've operated a turnkey company called REI Nation for that same amount of time. And we're here and dedicated to creating a seamless investing experience, totally integrated for an investor from top to bottom, and eliminating the need for an investor to deal with the old switcheroo where the management company is blaming the renovation company and the renovation company is blaming the management company. No one's taking ownership of issues that you have as an investor, and you're left wondering, what did I invest in? This doesn't feel very turnkey to me. I'm here to help you get away from that, answer the questions that you need to answer, focus on what turnkey really is, and then have a great turnkey investing experience. So let's get started. Let's start with what turnkey actually means today. And it means this. When you buy a property in a turnkey manner, it means that someone else has taken all of the risk for the investment on the front end. Now, you're going to take the risk when you own it. But heading in, someone else has already taken all the risk. They've identified the property and used their own money to buy it. They've identified the scope of work to bring that property. What you should demand is up to the best level it can be for the right amount of money, and they've spent their own money doing it. Then they've spent their own money placing a resident into the home so that what you're actually buying is a completed investment property that's already performing. And then lastly, and this is absolutely key, they themselves, the company, have the ability for you to hire them or another company that they own to provide management services on the back end. These are two separate things. One is an investment and one is the management of the investment. But by offering the ability for them to manage it for you, what it really does is it kind of closes the loop. It makes one person, one phone call, one point of contact responsible to you for the performance of the investment property and for all the issues that may come up down the road. And so you're actually investing in a process where someone else has said, our money's on the line, our reputation is on the line, and our responsibility to build a relationship with you is on the line when you purchase this property if you hire our management company. And that's what really kind of closes the loop and makes turnkey. So you're not really buying a property or an action, you're buying a process that all of the really difficult things and all of the stress and risk on the front end are all uniquely contained by someone else, okay? There are a lot of companies out there and individuals that they use the word turnkey on purpose because it's a marketing term and a lot of people pay attention to it, and they use it to describe something they have for sale. Like this is a turnkey property when really all it is a stabilized rental unit for sale in some city, and you can buy it and then you can go hire your own management company, but they're done with it the second you buy the property. It's just turnkey because it works, it's easy, it's something that attracts people to look at their property. In reality, there's nothing turnkey about that. They may have bought and renovated a stabilized property, but once the transaction's done, it's over. So it's very transactional. There is no relationship. There's no ongoing forward responsibility for them. The other thing that we see quite often with turnkey is you have people that want to insert themselves in. So they are turnkey, what we call promoters. They're people that are going to tell you what's good in a turnkey property. They're going to tell you what you should do rather than provide you any true benefit. Okay, so what they're doing is they're making money off of you instead of assisting you, making money for you. That is not turnkey. The only thing in this entire scenario for me that's truly a turnkey property is that someone else has purchased it with their money. Someone has renovated it with their money. They have taken the time to get a resident in. They offer a full service management on the backside that they're responsible for. That is truly turnkey, and that's the only definition that matters to me. The big advantages of doing turnkey investing or buying a property that is truly in that turnkey vein is that they generally are more accessible. So you have a property that's easy to determine, is it producing revenue or not? How much revenue is it producing? Is it enough for me to, at the end of the year, have brought in more revenue than expense? So therefore, I'm left with a positive cash flow. Is it a property that because it's more accessible, is it a property that is going to go up in value and be a good long-term, risk strategy for me? It also allows us in many times to be able to invest in parts of the process that we don't understand. Many of us don't know how to find properties. We don't know how to renovate properties. We don't know how to provide a proper scope of work and hold accountability to all of the different companies that are providing services to us. So the fact that somebody else knows how to do that and that's their expertise is really good. The other big advantage, it lets us de-risk if you do it right. So if you're truly buying a turnkey property from a great turnkey company, it does allow you to de-risk. Many investors that I talk to, they're taking risks in other things. They've got other investments where they're more risk. They also, they're looking to buy a return on their time. So they're saying, look, if I have to put my time into this, perhaps I'm losing money as opposed to putting my time into something else, but being more passive, much more hands-off, and buying a turnkey property instead. Now, one of the issues with this that all really turnkey investors have to know is that this is not get rich quick, and it's not it's not meant to replace passive positive income. So what I mean is, turnkey is a great way to build a hedging portfolio, one that, especially done right, to me, you buy really good properties, the best you can find, that have the proper renovations done. So you're able to balance the need for maintenance and other items down the line versus not overspending, therefore overpaying today. And there's a very fine balance. So a great turnkey property provides you the ability to be able to get in, get your money into a property. I'm a big believer in using leverage to acquire, but I like to use all of my revenue to reduce debt and principal as fast as possible. So if you're able to leverage into really good properties and over time you have a resident provide all the revenue needed to cover all the costs and all the expenses, so they're reducing your principal, they are, while you are reaping the benefit of growing the growth, the appreciation, not only on your down payment, but also on any money that you leverage, any money that you borrowed. For me, turnkey is a great way to get in very hands-off, make that return. It's not get rich quick, but it's very steady. Hedges against other things that may be greater risk. Now, understand something. With every type of investing, including if you buy from a turnkey company, there's good and bad. There are better turnkey companies than, I would say there are more poor turnkey companies than there are good turnkey companies. People that are at least using that name. There's very few companies that do what I described earlier. There's maybe a handful, maybe 6, at the most around the country. And they're varied in different markets. But they focus on being really good at what they do. So they generally focus on a particular price point that they like owning, managing, renovating. For us, we only want to be, around the median price point to maybe 20% below median. That's kind of where we want to be, because we know that there's the highest number of investors there. Data shows us that the highest number of qualified owner-occupant buyers are in that range. So we like to invest in those price points because it gives us the highest likelihood of getting a good qualified renter and getting a good qualified purchaser somewhere down the line. Other turnkey companies or other risks could be bad turnkey companies that really they like to play in the lower price points because It's easier to get. It's easier to convince somebody, especially somebody from out of state, that low price is low risk. That's not the case. But just the same, it's easy. So that's where they play. Some of the other risks with Turnkey is as I said earlier, only doing part of the process. So they're good at some pieces, but not good at other pieces. They provide some pieces, but not other pieces. It's just, you want to make sure that you're investing with turnkey companies that are holistic. They're vertically integrated. They've got every piece of from finding properties for you, renovating them for you, providing them already occupied for you, and managing it for you on the back end. Plus, like in the case of REI Nation, having the ability to be able to purchase properties back on the back end, or at least be there as an option to purchase properties back, it's a big deal. And very few companies out there offer that. But for me, that's what true turnkey means. And that's what, a system like that in the price point I talked about, for me, is the lowest level of risk you can find when you're investing passively in a hard asset that you own. So this whole turnkey thing, the whole turnkey process, it comes down to, am I working with a company that does all the things I'm telling you? Am I working with a company that finds the property, renovates the property, does those things with their own money? They work to get a resident in there so that when I buy it, it's already producing and I've got a revenue producing, performing asset. And then do they offer the ability for me to hire their management company? And are they any good at it? Okay, that's another thing you got to look at. But can I hire their management company so that should anything come up, should I have questions, I'm not looking around to see who's going to give me the answer, but there's just one source of truth. There's one company that bought it, renovated it, and managed it. So there's one source of truth that I go to say what's happening and why am I having an issue. I think that's super, super important for passive investors, and it's the way they need to look at turnkey investing today. Look, I hope that cleared up a little bit about what true turnkey investing really looks like. I know that for us, I'm gonna call it that REI Nation model here for a second, because we were one of the, if not the very first, company this way to be operating this way on a large scale. Of course, we achieved large scale really before anyone else had. Today, we're managing over 8,000 properties, so we're well into the path of knowing what works and what doesn't work. But I can tell you too that there's other good companies out there that have kind of followed our model, and some of them will openly tell you that they want to be like REI Nation in their market. That's fantastic. That's the sincerest form of flattery, so I love it. I'm all good for it. I think it's great, especially for you guys as investors to have options. But really make sure that you watch and you take care of yourself so that you're not investing in something that you think is turnkey when in reality it's not. All right, so feel free to connect with me on Bigger Pockets if you want. Thank you for joining me today for this video. And until we get to talk again, I'll see you soon. Take care.